Hello guys, my name is Balkrishna Srivastav and welcome to Code with BK. So in this video, we write a Java program to find the date after n days of the given date. For example, if the given date is 31st Jan 2020 and n is 30, so you have to find the date after 30 days from this given date, which is basically 1st March 2020. And you have to print the final date in this format. So before we begin, it is a request to please subscribe to my channel, because out of 100 views, only 1 or 2 is subscribed, and a subscription is very important. Okay, so please do subscribe to my channel. Alright, let's begin. So I am going to solve this problem using two different methods. In the first method, I am going to use the calendar class, okay, from the java.util package. Alright, in the second method, I am not going to use the calendar class. I am going to use a knowledge of dates and something called the concept of day number of year to solve this problem. Alright, so let's begin with the first solution. So I have to use the calendar class and I have to complete this function. So this function takes a date and an integer n, and this date object is not java.util.date. It is a date object, the class that I have written myself. This is a simple class that has 3 data members: month, day and year, and the constructor takes day, month and year. So the order is important. Alright, it is not mmddyy, it is ddmmyy. Okay, and this method has to return the final date after n days from the given date. In my main, I have taken certain dates. Alright, for each date I will find the date after n days. N is 10. We can change the value and test it later. Alright, and then I print the date after n days is this. Alright, so when you print this date, the toString method in this is called, which prints the date in this format. Alright, and the final date is supposed to be printed in this format, which is this. And I'm going to use this function that takes ddmmyy to print the date in this format. Alright, this function I have already explained in a separate video. Alright, I will add the link to the video in the description that takes these 3 values and prints the date in this format. Okay, so this is the function we need to complete. So the first thing we need is basically a calendar class object. Okay, get a calendar class object. Okay, so I say calendar and I have to import java.util.Calendar. Okay, I'll take calendar as the name of the instance. Alright, I'll say calendar.getInstance. Okay, and this is how you get an instance for calendar class. You cannot do calendar equal to new. Alright, that is not allowed. Okay, then you need to set the current date in this calendar. Okay, right, you have to set the month, day and year in this current calendar. So I say calendar dot set. Set method takes 2 fields. Okay, the first one is what value you want to set, and second is the value you want to set. So I want to set the year, okay, to date dot yyyy. Alright, so I can assess the yyyy from this date class object. Okay, alright, I can set the year. Okay, so this is basically a static field in calendar class that means a year. So if I want to set a year, I say I want to set this field to this value. Okay, similarly I can set the month. I'll say calendar.set, okay, calendar.month, okay, to value date.mm. Okay, one thing to note here is the month in calendar class is 0 indexed. Okay, so if I take my pointer here, okay, you can see January is 0. Okay, so I pass -1 because for our case January is 1 and December is 12. In case of calendar class, January is 0 and December is 11. Okay, so I have set the year, I have set the month. Okay, similarly I set the day. Okay, set, what do I need to set now? The day of month to date.dd. Okay, so I set the day. Alright, so now this calendar has moved on to this particular date that is passed here. Okay, setting the month, year and day of month. Second thing is move this date n days forward, and there is a method in the calendar class that can help us move the days forward. So I can say calendar dot add. What do I want to add to this? I want to add to this the day of month by n quantity. Okay, so now this calendar has moved to the final date that we want, moving n days forward from this current date. Okay, Now since my calendar has moved to the final date, all I need is mmDDYY to create a new date object and return it. Okay, so I'm going to say return new date. Okay, alright, and it takes ddmmyy. So to get the date from this calendar, I say calendar dot get. Again, what do I want to get? I want to get the day of month. Okay, the second argument I need to pass is the month. Okay, so I again say calendar dot get. Okay, and what do I want to get? Calendar dot month. Okay, and the month I'm going to get is going to be 0 index, so I add 1 to it. Okay, and the third argument I need is the year, so again I say calendar dot get. Okay, what do I want is year. Alright, so now this method returns the date after n days from this given date. So let me run this. For these test cases, I have taken n equal to 10, so we'll find dates after n days from these dates. Okay, and these are all valid dates. Okay, you don't have to verify them. So let me run this. So 10 Feb 2020 after 10 days is 20th Feb, 27th June 1962 after 10 days 7th July, 10th Jan 2000 is 10 days is 20th Jan, 31st Jan after 10 days 10 Feb, 31st May after 10 days is 10th June, 30th June after 10 days is 10th July, 30th November after 10 days is 10 December, 12th November after 10 days is 22nd November, 3rd November after 10 days is 13th November, 31st December after 10 days is 10th January. Okay, changing it to 30. Okay, alright. Okay, 10th Feb after 30 days is 11th March because 2020 is a leap year. Okay, so 19 days for the remaining days of Feb and then 11 days of March. 19 plus 11 makes it 30, so 11th March. Okay, and similarly for the other cases. Okay, making this to be a large value. Okay, it is still going to give us the right date. Okay, and when we code our second approach, I am going to use this same very test cases, okay, to verify that we are doing this correctly. So this was the first approach to find date after n days, and these are very few lines of code compared to what we are going to solve. All right, so if you remember this is great. Okay, now we'll move on to the next method where I find date after n days without using the calendar class. We use knowledge of dates and something called the day number of year. Okay, so in this method we don't use the calendar class, we use our knowledge of dates to solve this problem given date, day, month and year, and we need to find the date after n days and we need to print the final date as this. All right, okay, and in this case you can see that this is a leap year, right? So February has 29 days, so when you add 29 to this date you get 29 Feb, you add one more, you add 30 days, you go to 1st March, right? Okay, so whenever I'm solving date related questions, my first function is to check if the given year is a leap year or not. So I'm going to write a function is leap year, takes a year, returns true if this year is a leap year, returns false if this year is not a leap year, and the check is very standard. If %400 equal to 0, that is it is divisible by 400, you return true. Okay, if YYYY is divisible by 100, okay, you return false. Okay, if YYYY %4 divisible by 4 is 0, you return true, and finally you return false. So when a year is divisible by 400, it is a leap year. Year divisible by 100 but not by 400. These are years 1700, 1800, 1900 and so on. Okay, these are not leap years. Okay, year divisible by 4, not divisible by 100 and 400 is also a leap year. All the others are not a leap year. Okay, so why is 1700 and 1800 not a leap year even though they are divisible by 4 and every 4th year is supposed to be a leap year? There is a very technical explanation for this. The explanation I'll add in the description. Okay, you may look at it because it is beyond the discussion, beyond the scope for the discussion for this problem, right? Okay, this is the standard code for checking for leap year and this is what we stick to. Okay, so this is my first helper method. My second helper method is int get num days, int int YYYY. So this method will return me the number of days in the given month for this given year. Okay, so I have this array int days. Okay, first location is 0, second location is basically index 1. So number of days in Jan, number of days in Feb, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November and December. Okay, this is one entire array. Okay, all right. So index 0 is redundant. At index 1 you get number of days in month 1. Index 2 you get number of days in month 2. Index 3 you get number of days in month 3 and so on. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We take in the year as well in this method because you want to check if this year is a leap year or not. If it is, we change this value to 29. So if is leap year, we use the helper function that we just wrote. We pass yy. Okay. If this is the case, we increment the number of days in Feb by 1. Okay. We do days of 2 plus plus. So this becomes 29 if this yy is a leap year. And finally we return days of Okay. Is a valid month between is between 1 to 12. Alright. So I have a method that gives me the number of days for the given month in the given year. Okay. And this is a very convenient way to code because the number of days in the months do not change. Okay. Across years, they only change for a leap year. So you can hard code the values. You don't have to write an entire if else if ladder. Okay. So this is my first helper method. This is my second helper method. Okay. Now I introduce something called day number of year. In short, I'll call it DN. Okay. So day number of year is self-explanatory. So 1st Jan 2020 will have day number equal to 1 because it's the first day number of year. We will have 31st Jan. Our day number in this case is going to be 31st day. Okay. 29th Feb 2020 because 2020 is a leap year. Day number is going to be 60. 60th day of this year is 29th Feb. Okay. And so 31st December 2020 is going to be day number 366 because this is a leap year and it will have 366 days. So the last day number is going to be 366. So for leap year, okay, our day number is between 1 to 366. Okay. Because leap year will have 366 days, so day number will start from 1 and maximum value for day number will be 366. And for non-leap year, day number is going to be between 1 to 365. Alright. So this is to tell you the concept of day number. Okay. So I'm going to write one more helper method. I'll say int get num days in year. Okay. So this is get num days in month. So I'll change this to, okay. This is my third helper method. Okay, get num days in year takes in a year. Okay, pretty simple. If this year is a leap year, I return 366. If this year is not a leap year, I return 365. If is leap year, y, return 366. Else, return 365. Alright, for a leap year, return 366. For a non-leap year, return 365. Okay. Alright. And this will help me find the maximum day number for the given year. Because for a leap year, maximum day number is 366. And for a non-leap year, maximum day number is 365. Okay. So now we need to find the day number for the given date, month and year for the given date. Okay. So I'll take another example. I'll say if date is 27, month is 6, year is 1962. Okay. How do I find the day number for this year? The first thing, I add days of all months less than Okay. So all the months before we add days for all those months. So this will include months from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 less than 6. Second is add DD. Okay. The day of month to DN. Okay, so if DN starts with 0, so we need to add days for all months less than So months less than are 1 to 5. So adding days of months greater than equal to 1 and less than 6. Okay, so days in January are going to be 31. Feb for this year, this is a non-leap year. So 28. This is not divisible by 4. 4 4 is 16. 4 9 is 36. Not divisible. Jan, Feb, March, April, May. Okay, So this first point will give us 31 plus 28 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31. So this is 151. We add DD to this current sum. So 151 plus 27 is 178. So for this date, day number is 178 in 1962. Okay, and these are the two steps we code to find the day number. So I write a method int get day number of year, takes values dd, mm, yyyy. All right, we start with dn equal to 0. Dn is 0. Okay, for all months greater than or equal to 1, less than mm, we add the days. So for int month equal to 1, month is less than mm. Okay, month plus plus. Okay, we do dn plus equal to. How do we find the number of days in this month? We call this method get num days in month, get num days in month. We pass month and my current year is yyyy. Okay, okay, because this method takes the month and the year both. Okay, all right, okay. So after this loop completes, you have added the sum of all the previous months. dm is the sum of days of previous months. When you complete this loop, month starts with 1, goes till less than mm, month plus plus, and you add to dn, okay, the number of days in this current month for this year, okay, using this method. Okay, and then finally you add dd. So you do dn plus equal to dd and you finally return dn. Okay, so this method will take dd mmyy and give you the corresponding day number for this given year. Okay, following these two steps. All right, so we found the day number for this given date. Okay, all right, suppose for this given date we have n equal to 300. That is, we need to find the date after 300 days from this given date. Okay, so we add 300 to this day number, so we get dn2, which is the day number of the date that we have to find, is equal to dn plus n. All right, so dn2 is going to be 178 plus 300 is equal to 478. All right, so I'm going to remove this part. You already understand what day number is, and we are considering this ddmmyy example with n equal to 300 that we are following. Okay, so let me remove this. So we know that for leap year, okay, day number is less than equal to 366, greater than equal to 1. For non-leap year, day number is less than equal to 365. Okay, so the our dn2 is greater than the maximum day number for this non-leap year. So 1962 is a non-leap year. The maximum day number for 1962 is 365. 478 is greater than 365. So we have moved on to the next year. Okay, so how do we find the updated dn? Okay, the day number for the next year, we do 478 minus 365. Okay, we remove the days of this current year from this day number, we get 113. Okay, all right, since we removed the number of days for this current year, we moved on to the next year. So now yyyy basically becomes 1962 plus 1, 1963. Okay, so the date we need to find is for this day number and this year. Okay, so now this 113, okay, is between 1 and 365. Okay, because number of days in 1963 is 365, maximum day number for 1963 is 365. So now the problem is to extract month and day for this given day number in year 1963. Okay, so now the problem is find mm2 dd2 from dn2 and yy2. Okay, dn2 is 113. Okay, yyyy2 is 1963. Okay, and if this dn was again greater than 365, we would again subtract 365 and increment the year again. We would go on as long as this dn does not fall in the range of 1 to 365 or 366 for a leap year. Okay, I'll show in the code how we do this. All right, okay, So I'm going to write a method void find date after n days. Okay, takes in the day dd, month year and n. All right. Okay, the first task is to find the date number using these two, okay, which we have done in this method. So I can simply say int dn is get day number of year, get day number of year, okay, passing the values dd, yyyy. Okay, I get dn, which is this. Okay, then I add n to dn, so I get int dn2 is dn plus n. Okay, all right, the day number for the final date that we need to find. Then we need to check if this day number is greater than the number of days in the given year. So while dn2 is greater than get num days in year, we are using this function now, get num days in year, okay, and we pass yyyy. Okay, as long as this is the case, I subtract the number of days in this year from this dn. So I do dn2 minus equal to get num days in year yyyy. Okay, and I increment the year. Okay, because when we removed 365 from this dn2, we incremented the year by 1. Okay, and we do this as long as dn does not come in the range of 1 to 365 or 366. All right. Okay, this handles the case if say n is 10,000. Okay, all right, this loop will continue as long as you don't get a valid day number for the given year. Okay, and the year is incremented. All right, so we are here now. Okay, we completed this part as well. We are here now where we need to find mm2 and dd2 from dn2, because we have found the year of our date, which is yy. You can say this yyyy2 is the updated yyyy. Okay, all right. So final part is how do we get and dd from dn2. So we are given 113. We need to find the month and date for this given day number. Year is 1963. Okay, so finding the month and day from this day number is basically reverse of this process, which finds day number from day, month and year. Okay, so we keep removing the days in month, okay, from this day number as long as it is possible. Okay, so let me just make some boundaries so that you understand this. This is my code, this is my first function, this is my second function, this is my third function, this is my fourth function. Okay, when I put it all in the code in the system, it will be much more clearer. Okay, this is the final code, the main method. Okay, all right. So we need to find month and day from this day number. So we have day number, we have month. Okay, I'll say this mm2. Okay, I need to find dd2 as well. Okay, which is I don't know. My dn is 113. I will start with mm2 as 1. Days in mm2 is basically the number of days in this month, which is 31. dn2 greater than days in mm2. Okay, 113 greater than 31. Okay, so we can remove 31 from 113 and increment the month. Okay, so I'll do 113 minus 31, which will give me 82, and I move on to the next month. Okay, so my day number is 82 now. I am at month 2. Okay, days in month 2 are 28 because year is 1963, not a leap year. Okay, again dn2, 82 is greater than 28 is true. Okay, so I can subtract 28 from 82. So I do 82 minus 28 is equal to 54. Okay, my month now becomes 3. Okay, so for this given day number, I am at month 3. Okay, so my dn is 54 now, month is 3, days in month 3 is 31, 54 is greater than 31 is true. So I can remove these days from this dn. So 54 minus 31 gives me 323. Okay, so month is now 4. So month becomes 4, days in this month is 30. 23 greater than 30, dn2 greater than days in month is false. Okay, all right. So we were able to remove days of month as long as possible from this day number to arrive at a final month. So our date is, this is DD2, this is MM2. So my date that I print is 23rd April 1963. Okay, and I'll show you how to print the date in this format, okay, in the code. Okay, so the date 300 days after this date is 23rd April 1963. Okay, so I will use the calendar class to verify this date. Okay, so let me just complete this code. Okay, so what we are doing, we are removing days in month from this day number as long as possible. So while dn2 is greater than days in this month mm2, so I set int mm2 to 1. We started with mm2 as 1. Get num days in month. Get num days in month mm2. As long as this is the case, I remove the days in month from this dn2. dn2 minus equal to get num days in month mm2. Okay, and I increment the month. Okay, when this loop completes, okay, when this loop completes, my dd2 is dn2, that is my final day of month that I need to find is the remaining dn value. My final month is mm2, okay, and my year is yyyy, so I can print date passing dd2, mm2 and yyyy. Okay, alright, I will show you how print date is written. I have already written a video to how to print date in this format. Okay, I'll add the link of that video in the description. Okay, alright. So obviously this is a pretty long solution, but it is important to understand how all this works, right? Because we are using our knowledge of dates to solve this problem. Okay, okay, alright. So before we move on to running this on a system, running some test cases, okay, and I'll verify the test cases and I'll verify this code using the calendar class as well. Okay. So before we move on to the system, it is a request to please subscribe to this channel. Okay, and let's move on to running this on system now. So this is the code that we wrote for the second method. Okay, all these functions. So these first two functions, get month name and print date, are basically to print the date in this format because we want the final date in this format. Okay, and then we have methods we wrote is leap year to check if this year is a leap year or not, to get num days in month for this given month and given year, get day number of year for this given date, okay, get num days in year for this given year, and then this method to find date after n days. Okay, takes dd mm yyyy and n and prints the date after n days from this given date. Okay, in my main I have taken certain dates and these are in dd mm yyyy format, and for each date I will print the date after n days. Okay, and then I'm going to increase the value of n and see how this behaves. Okay, so let me run this. Okay, so 10th Feb after 10 days is 20th Feb, 29th Feb after 10 days is 10th March, 10th Jan after 10 days is 20th Jan, 31st Jan after 10 days is 10th Feb, 31st May after 10 days is 10th June, 30th June after 10 days is 10th July, 30th November after 10 days is 10th December, 12th November after 10 days is 22nd November, 3rd November after 10 days is 13th November, 31st December after 10 days is 10th Jan. Alright, so let me use the calendar class code, okay, to verify. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So I am going to also print the final date that I get by using calendar class. Okay, because they are using the same starting date and same n. Okay, so I'm going to say date after n days using calendar class, and I'll call print date because I already have my final date in calendar. So I need the final day of month, final month and final year. So I say these three values. Okay. Okay. And again adding 1 to getting the month because month is 0 indexed in calendar and 1 indexed in our case. Okay. So running this, let me change one line as well. So running this, okay, my date should match. So this after 10 days is 20th Feb 2020, 20th Feb, 10th March, 20th Jan, year is same, 10th Feb, 10th June, 10th July, 10th December, 22nd November, and so on. Let me change this to 100. Okay, 20th May, 20th May, 8th June, 8th June, 19th April, 19th April, 10th May, 10th May, 8th September, 8th September, 8th October, October, 10th March, 10th March, 20th Feb, 20th Feb, 11th Feb, 11th Feb, 9th April, 9th April. Let me change this to 1000. Alright, my dates are still the same. Okay, changing it to 10,000. Okay, my dates are still the same. Alright, okay. I wonder if anyone will be watching this video in 2047. 2027, I guess someone will. 2047 is going to be a long time from now. Okay, so our code works, okay, without the calendar class. Calendar class was just to verify the code. Okay, so this was the second approach to find the date after n days of the given date without using the calendar class. So I hope this video was helpful. You like this video. So if you like this video, found this helpful, please do subscribe to my channel. And if there is something that you don't like in this video, please just don't press that dislike button. Please also let me know in the comments what was that you don't like about this video. Alright, only then can I improve in my future videos. Alright, and you can also let me know in the comments if there is a question you want me to solve or if there is a concept you want me to discuss. Thank you.